Hey friends, it's great to be with you again. I've heard from a few of you after not posting for a good long time, and people are wanting updates. And I just want to say thank you for reaching out to those people that have asked about that. And then also, you guys have been in my thoughts. I just haven't been posting. A lot has happened since I last posted on this channel. I was in Colombia for a while, and then my grandmother died, and I came back to the United States, and just recently my grandfather turned 100, so I went to the East Coast to celebrate that. So that was a really beautiful experience. I need to make this video, and to be honest with you, I never thought that I would need to. It's a very strange video, because for most of my life, I've gone to other places in the world and tuned into what's going on there. I've been to Africa, been to the Middle East, been to Haiti, been to Central America, and all over the United States. And for a lot of my life, I've always thought that that conflict and danger was always somewhere else. I go to another place. I go to a combat zone. I go to a war zone. I go to, help with disaster relief. And this is the first time in my entire life where I feel like the danger is here. The danger is here in the United States. And yeah, it really breaks my heart, to be honest. I'm a little bit afraid, because I don't know what exactly is coming, but my intuition and my pattern recognition are all throwing red flags. All the alarm bells are going off right now. And I don't want the purpose of this video to be, conveyance of fear. That's not the point. What I do want to say is that we need to start getting ready. Sorry, I got something in my eye. We need to start getting ready. I don't know what exactly is coming, but it looks like it's going to start with civil unrest. As you may or may not know, I'm not really going to go into the politics of it. I don't really care if you support Palestine or Israel, but what is objectively going on from an experienced person with combat experience is Israel is committing genocide of thousands of civilians. More than half of them have been children. And this is done in the name of combat, but I can tell you for a damn fact that the United States military has never used the escalation of force and rules of engagement that we're seeing in Israel or in Palestine right now. Maybe during World War II, when we firebombed Dresden and dropped the atomic bombs, that's a different matter. This is targeted, precise strikes on a civilian population, killing thousands and thousands of people. These are not combatants. These are people, and these are civilians. And so this is rightfully angering many people, including myself, including other combat veterans that I've talked to. There's plenty of guys in the military that I've also talked to that they don't really give a fuck. For them, every dead Arab is a good Arab, and I'm not of that opinion. And I think that people are born with human rights, and we, just because they belong to a different faith doesn't mean that they don't also deserve life, just like you and I do. So I'm pretty, yeah, again, people are going to make this into politics. This is not political. This is not political at all. Whoever thinks that this is political can go fuck themselves, because this is about human rights. These are civilians. These are children that are getting killed. If you think that's political, fuck you, really and seriously. I'm sorry for that, but that's the point of this is not to get into that. The point of this is to tell you that we need to get ready. we collectively, the people of the United States, something is brewing. I don't know what. And if we are not ready, we are going, you're good. Anyone that's not ready for this is going to get swept along. And as someone that has been through a few chaotic times in my life, the outcomes that result from just being swept along in chaos are much worse than if you just get swept along at the buffet in a restaurant or something like that, or you get swept along in rush hour traffic and you miss your exit. These are very serious consequences. We're talking, it feels like to me there's about a 25% chance that we're gonna have civil unrest, destruction of property, looting, all sorts of things like that, and about a 10% chance that that a lot of society goes really, really badly. We're talking about market collapse. We're talking about infrastructure destroyed. We're talking about lack of electricity, running water, things like that. So it's pretty serious. So I just want to say that we need to get ready. And I'm not just going to say get ready. I'm also going to give you some steps as to how to do that. But I just want to say that I am really grieved. I'm really grieved by what's coming. I really don't know what to say. When I saw that protesters protests had started in Washington, D.C., I actually misread the news report, and instead of saying it said that protesters had climbed on the fence of the White House. I read it as protesters had climbed over the fence, and I just literally had a meltdown. I was crying because this is beginning. This is the beginning of something huge. Maybe I'm wrong. If I'm wrong, I'm gonna be wrong, and for the rest of my life, I'm gonna be that guy that cried wolf once. I think I can live with that. But if I'm right, and all that I've gone through in my life is for this moment, then we really need to get ready. We really need to get ready. So how do we do that? How do we get ready? The first and most important thing, if you take away nothing else from this video, the first and most important thing that I've got to tell you is that you have to take care of you. If you don't take care of yourself, you are going to be a liability to everyone else around you. When I was in the Marine Corps, when we were in boot camp, they had just cleaned out Fallujah recently, and they'd gone through Fallujah, and there was a video that they showed us over and over and over again to underscore this. And it was a guy that went running across the main road right there in Fallujah, which I later drove down, and he got hit by a sniper or small arms fire or something. He got hit. So next guy goes out there, gets hit. Next guy goes out there, gets hit. Every single one of the guys that went out there to get him got hit. Why? They were trying to help the other person, but they were in danger themselves. And so the consequence was that instead of one KIA or one casualty, we had 3. And that's what's going to happen here if we don't take care of ourselves. So how do you take care of yourself? The first thing that you need to do is identify your shelter. Where is that? It could be home, it could be work. If you're wherever you're going, you need to analyze that place. What happens if things break out while I'm at work? How do I get home? What happens if things break out when I'm at home? How do I get out of the city, or if I'm not in a city, what do I do? Should I shelter in place? How do I get to loved ones? That sort of thing. In terms of your shelter, things that you need to think about are basically you need to proof it. So you need to think about, okay, how would someone break into this? You need to inspect it and go, how would someone break into this? What are the access points? What are the egress routes? And then also, how would you break out of it? So let's say you're trapped in there. How would you break out of it? Do you get out of the second floor window? Like, how are you going to get out of that window? How are you going to get down to the ground without breaking your legs? Stuff like that. The second thing is you need to protect yourself. So you can do that with a number of ways. The first way is getting to shelter. The next way is if someone comes into that shelter, or you are in a space where you still need to protect your body, your person, your life, then you need two things at least. You only need one, but two are preferable. The first thing that you need are weapons to protect yourself. The second thing is body armor. So you can get body armor. You can get what's called a plate carrier or a tack vest from like 511 or any of these guys. And then you need what are called SAPI plates. SAPI plates are ceramic inserts in those tactical vests that stop rounds. I've seen, or one of the guys in my unit, I think he took 8 rounds in his SAPI plate from an AK, and it stopped all of them. It didn't stop the one that went through his shoulder, but that's a different matter. So you need SAPI plates, you need tack vest, and you need weapons if you're going to protect yourself. Another thing, so you have shelter, we have protection, and then provision. Provision is, if it's cold, do you have blankets? If it's hot, do you have a way of cooling yourself down? Do you have access to water and food? If you expect water to come out of the tap every single time you turn the tap on, you're wrong. I'm sorry. It's not how it works. So how are you going to get clean water if the water in your shelter runs out? And then also, how long can you go without food, or with the food that you currently have? What's going to spoil? What's not going to spoil? What's going to last for a week? What's going to last for a month? Plan accordingly. And then last but not least, communication. Communication is the fourth one. How are you going to communicate with the outside world? Right now we have cell phones. Everything's good to go. But in crises, cell phone towers, networks, phone lines, everything, they collapse, they get jammed, they get turned off, whatever. And so how are you gonna talk with the outside world? How are you gonna get a hold of your loved ones? You need to have contingency plans, like what happens if I don't show up in 5 hours after work and I'm just gone? You can't get a hold of me. What is my family to do? Things like that. How do I get a hold of all of my parents, my spouse, my kids, all that? Make sure that you have all that information and you're not relying on electronics or telecommunication, 21st century telecommunication. A great thing that you can have are walkie-talkies, ham radio. What else? Shit, you could get homing pigeons, smoke signals. No, I'm kidding about that. But shortwave radios, ham radios, and walkie-talkies are all good ways of communicating. I know a guy that he's looking at radios that will enable him to talk with his wife at home about 10 miles away. So there's plenty of options out here for communication. But just remember, if you're going to take care of yourself, you got to get your shelter, protect yourself. You got to have communications and provision. Make sure that you take care of those. And then once you have those covered and you can get through like 24, 48 hours, then we can start talking about more longer term solutions. And if you guys would like something in the future on tack vests, I've got mine mostly set up. And I can show you like what's important if you guys don't know what I'm talking about. But like I said, I never thought that I would have to make this video. I never thought. There was a part of me when I left the Marine Corps that kind of, I don't know, that prepared for it a little bit. Was like, you need to have a rifle. Like I'm not gonna just rely on the police. But as things have increasingly progressed recently, it's pretty clear it's time to prepare. So Take care of you. I care about you. I want you to thrive, especially in chaos. That's when most people collapse. Don't collapse. Thrive. Thrive in chaos. It's a word that I love. Proentropic. Proentropic. Look it up. All right. Blessings.